Today's video, I'm reviewing the new release by Lisa Eldridge, her Pinpoint Concealers. These have received a lot of hype on social media already, even though it's a new release. I've been behind the scenes doing my testing, trying it every which way, and I'm just not sure for me that it's worth the hype. We're going to talk about why I'm not so impressed with this launch, why you might want it, who might this be good for, when you might want to use this, and when you might want to pass. So if you're interested, stick around. I'm about to get right into it. So I'm Mona, and I love bringing you content from South Louisiana related to making your second half the best half. If that's content you're interested in, consider hitting that subscribe button and giving me a big thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. I have a little cold today. You can see some redness. That's a little more exaggerated than normal, but I always have redness. This product is designed to eliminate redness, to get rid of blemishes, dark spots, to conceal or erase basically any imperfections that you have on your skin, broken capillaries, hyperpigmentation, old acne spots, any kind of thing like that, including blemishes that you might want to erase. And I am all for that. I have very dry skin that's very sensitive, very red, rosacea prone. I had a lot of acne in my early college years, and I have a lot of scars. And there are a lot of things that I'm interested in erasing on my face. These retail for $34 a piece. I'm going to pop the shades up. They come in varied shades depending on your skin tone and depending on what you may want to use them for. And that in itself is an issue. So these have very fine tips for pinpoint concealing, which is, the draw. You can see I've been testing this quite a bit. It's already really worn down. It does come with a built-in sharpener, which is always nice. However, when I do this, I am not getting that pinpoint back again. It's barely catching this in the sharpener. So I would say that the sharpener is, to start off with, is of limited value to me. But even if you have a blunt tip on the end, it's still fine, 0.5 millimeters, I believe. And so you still can do pinpoint corrections. But at $34 a piece, and the fact that you may need different shades for different uses, like if you want to brighten, you may want one shade. If you want to conceal on your face, you may want another shade. I've seen people review these that have received recommendations for up to 3 shades. So at $34 a piece, you're already talking about $102, if my math is correct. It's a little pricey for what it does for me. The concept is good, and I am going to share a couple of things that I think that I will be glad that I have one for, but I don't know if this is something that I'm going to repeat purchase a lot, because I think it's an expensive way to conceal. Now they say that it's got the fine point, they say that it's waterproof, they say that it's sweat resistant, they say that you don't have to set it, it's self-setting, and so those are all very positive points. I appreciate when a brand is trying to do something innovative as well. I think in an age where there seems to be not much new under the sun, it's nice when a brand tries to come up with something new and innovative. But I do remember a product similar to this in the late 80s or the very early 90s when I was having a lot of my problems with acne. And Jones Road has something similar. They have a face stick, and it's not the same, but it's similar. I have no makeup today, so I can show you some of what it does and try to present the pros and cons and help you make an informed decision about this product. There are just a couple of points about it that I think you should consider. So I have shade 1 and I have shade 2, which were my recommendations. And on her website, they do have a matrix to help you choose your right color. And I don't think that the colors it chose for me were bad. I think the shades are fine. One of them has a yellow, more warmer tone for concealing, purplish discolorations. One is more cool and better matches my skin tone and can brighten. So they're creamy in texture. They blend okay on a hydrated face. I went in and I applied my Laneige Cream Skin I do not have a full face on today, like of moisturizer and sunscreen and all of those things, but I am going to apply Lisa's skin tint on one side of my face as we get into this demonstration. And I wanted to make sure to pat that underneath my eyes because yesterday when I was using it, my eyes were pretty dry from a new tretinoin that I'm using underneath my eyes, and this really did not look flattering to darken up the spot that I have here in the corner that's dark, or to lighten up that tear trough. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It didn't really look too good, but with hydration I find that it looks a little better. So take the stick. It says you can use it with your fingers, you can use it with a brush, whatever is best for you. Lisa says that if you're trying to conceal a certain spot, that you should scribble over it and not create a circle. I agree with that. In my days of having a really bad cystic acne, and it would be a raised red bump like on my chin, and I really wanted to camouflage that so bad. And if you piled on concealer like I would try to do, you would generally just get a big cakey mess in that circle. And then because the bump was raised, within just a little while that pigment would be off of the bump and really just all around the area and cakey. I think her directions for covering it, a blemish like that, are certainly correct, and she knows her skills, and her artistry is definitely on point. So if you have a blemish, 2 blemishes, 3 blemishes, and you want to conceal those, I think that this can do a great job. Probably better than my trusty concealer, because this has more pigment in the formula than most of those concealers. However, if I'm using a pot, like a NARS pot for concealing, I do find that that's pretty effective too. And I think that I've pretty much nailed the way to conceal my imperfections in a quicker motion with a product that's going to apply coverage faster and more evenly. And so if you have a lot of blemishes or a lot of imperfections that you're trying to conceal, this can be very time consuming and it can use a lot of product. So people say that this can be used for no makeup days. It's one of the purposes that they tout as really great, right? You can find a color that matches your skin tone. You can just target the little areas that you want to, and your skin is going to look just like your regular skin. No makeup, but a little more perfected and evened out. But to me, part of the attraction of no makeup is being able to do it quickly, right? Not spending that much time on your makeup. Having your skin evened out really quickly, no muss, no fuss. This is not a no muss, no fuss product. If you have a lot of spots or a lot of imperfections, this pinpoint technique is going to take you a long time. And I think that cancels out some of the benefit of no makeup. So for me, if I want to achieve no makeup, I would prefer to put on a quick skin tint or tinted moisturizer or tinted sunscreen, and then go in with a product like this on top of it and touch up anything that might show through on top of that. But to use this first, like we're going to do now, would use too much product for the everyday and would take too long. So I'm going to be looking down at my mirror, which is right here, and we're going to go in and we are going to target these broken capillaries that I have right here and some of the redness. So I'm just going to kind of scribble it on, which it goes on creamy. This is all red and all broken capillaries. So I'm applying a little bit more product, and my redness and my rosacea goes onto my cheek. And it's not just a spot, it's several spots, it's a whole area. So this also, just so you know, this also dries down because it is waterproof, so it dries down fast. You can take your fingers, you can take a little sponge, you can take a brush, and you can just tap that on. And I think it did a nice job of covering this. I have a little more redness right here. And take my finger. So if I want to conceal, like I have a little spot right here, I could literally just scribble over it. You know, not making that circle like they said, but kind of scribbling over the spot and then just tapping it in. So I have some spots right here on my chin. So see what I'm saying? If I just sit here and cover up all these spots, this redness right here, I'm going to go through this $34 product really quickly. I'm rolling it up, and I'm going to take a little bit on this little tear trough. They say this is not a concealer to go underneath your eyes. Lisa is supposedly working on one of those. I'm not sure when it's supposed to come out, but I did hear that she was working on a regular under eye concealer. This has been my least favorite way to use it because my under eyes, even though I have hydrated them, this is just still not wanting to blend as good. They definitely would have to be super hydrated. It's nice to pinpoint in that corner though, right there, where I get a little shadow. The other thing that I've enjoyed it for that I think is nice is to clean up my brows. So once I've penciled in my brows, I can trace the shape that I want and do any cleanup work. But then you do have to go back and blend with a little brush. So I don't know if this is really that much better than my other way of using my concealer or an eyeliner like my Fake Awake or some of the other colors that I've used to do this in the past. And some of those are also waterproof. So does it eliminate redness? It does. Does it cover spots? It does. But as I'm going to show you, so does my concealer. All right, so I'm going to go on this little bump right here. This is the one thing that I would say I am going to enjoy this most for, is I have a little blood vessel that is on the pinpoint of my nose, kind of like a witch's spot, I feel like, and concealer doesn't do a good job of covering that. This really covers it better than my concealer. Now, we're going to talk about longevity. So I've been using this for a few days, and today I had full makeup on and I had this on to go to the hairdresser. And I have a little bit of a cold and I've been sneezing and wiping my nose, and by the time I got off, by the time I finished, it was off. And even though it claims to be waterproof and it claims to be sweat resistant, you know, it definitely didn't hold up to me blowing my nose. So, and it doesn't cover it completely, but it does help. It does definitely look better. It also hasn't completely camouflaged the severe broken capillaries right here, although it has helped. But again, so does my concealer and my color corrector, and it's a lot faster. So I can get this to work, and then when I put on eyeshadow, if I have a little mess, I can go and clean this up really easy, like going up right here. And I think that's really nice. But I can also just take a small little eyeshadow brush and use my concealer. I just don't know that this does things that other products in my collection can't. And I don't know that this is going to last very long, because this is twice that I've rolled it up just since we've been on camera, and twice that I have leveled it with the amount of product that I used, and I did not even get to this side of my face. I don't think this is a bad product. If you have a lot of imperfections, I think you'd be replacing it a whole lot and you'd be spending a lot of money. If you have one or two little areas that you want to work with, then this might be perfect for you. If you get that blemish, that really big blemish, and you definitely want to pinpoint correct that, I think this would be really great for that. I think it would be better and superior to your average concealer for that. So no, it's definitely not a bad product, and I definitely will use them up. When I'm thinking about repurchasing them, if they run out really quickly, I just don't know that I'd do that. And I'm going to follow back up on this review, and I'm going to give you that information, like how fast did it take to use them up, and do I feel like I've come to have enough uses for them that I want to repurchase them. I think I might like to use it around my lips. I did notice that it really did help to keep my lipstick from feathering. As I get older, I'm getting more lip lines and wrinkles around my lips, and my lipsticks, even with lip liner, want to bleed. So I felt like that did help with that a little bit. So let's look at how I normally would conceal these same red spots and same red areas. So I would take this Bye Bye Dark Spots Concealer Serum by IT Cosmetics, and I would open it up, and I would take out this little doe foot, and I'd go in right here. I have this in the same color as my skin so that this doesn't look like a highlighter or an under eye concealer that doesn't match my skin tone. This matches my skin tone, as well as the little pencil. Yes, it did deposit more product. Then I can take this little brush that comes on it, or a brush of my own, and look how much faster this is to just cover up this area where I'm always going to have redness, and the redness is going to go onto my nose. With the same little brush, I can tackle all of that redness. And I can go onto this little red spot right here, all with kind of that same product that I just had. This product is going to last me a long time. No matter how much I use it, I don't have to replace this often. If I want to conceal my tear troughs, it's actually easier to do it my way, which is to take my Dermatology Luminous Eye Corrector SPF 41. So it's got SPF in it. It color corrects. It helps get rid of this darkness. It can also get rid of the darkness and the veining on my lids. It also has peptides in it, and it's hydrating. And it has extra sun protection. So I can take that and I can color correct right here and brighten this dark shadow, at the same time sweeping it over my lids, and I can carve out underneath my brow anything I want to clean up right there. And I can kind of do it in one full swoop. I can then go in with my Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, and I can grab that tear trough over the color corrector. Just pinpointing it where I want it. And then what I usually do is I take this little lipstick brush and I concentrate this right on top where I want it. And I can easily clean up my eyeshadow just like this with this little brush. It'll create a straight line going up. And it's a little bit faster. It's a little bit more economical because this product is stretching further than this stick is going to. And then I can take and powder it. Use my Pat McGrath Under Eye Blurring Powder. I think of all the under eye powders that I've used so far, this continues to be my favorite, and it's my favorite product by Pat McGrath in general. So I can take a little puff. And that's concealed. That dark spot is filled as much as it's going to. You know, comparing how that works to the stick. The stick takes more product. It doesn't glide as easily underneath my eyes in that tear trough. It's not as creamy. And if this area is not hydrated enough, it shows cakiness, I find, more than my concealer and my color corrector does. That's just my opinion. Does this side look great? Yes, it does. It does. It did a great job. But I used a lot of product and it took me a lot of time. In a lot less time, I can cover more area and more imperfections in a similar way. If I'm trying to color correct for redness, I'm going to use this Arborian CC Red Correct with Centella Asiatica. It's soothing. It covers my redness, and I can take a little bit of this and I can cover a much wider area if I want to get the redness on my nose, redness on my cheeks, redness on my chin. A little bit goes a long way. It's quicker. ultimately less expensive to just treat it with a wide swath instead of taking all of that time to just pinpoint correct. Then I go in with a skin tint, like this skin tint by Lisa Eldridge, which I absolutely love. Just take a little bit on my fingers. And this is going to give me the same no makeup look, but in less time. And using that pencil on every spot and every perfection that I have. So this is going to give me a perfected look. It's going to even out the redness. It's going to even out some of the imperfections on my skin. It's going to cover most of the spots. And then if I have anything left, then I would suggest going in with this and just hitting those 1 or 2 spots that didn't get corrected with the method that you just used. But see, my broken capillaries here are covered just as easily as my broken capillaries here. In fact, they're covered a little bit better than this pencil covered them. I would want to go in again with this product and hit it again. Whereas on this side, I don't feel like I need to. All right, I'm going to finish my face, and then I'm going to show you how I can use it to clean up or do around my lips. I'm not saying don't buy this. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I don't know that this is the easiest way to color correct or spot correct big areas. And that if you want a no makeup look, you're probably better off choosing, in my opinion, choosing a skin tint and then going in with a concealer. Or this product. This product will go a lot further if you use it like that. This is Huda Beauty's blush filter. This is the one in Latte, which is kind of a combination bronzer blush. I'm just loving this every day. I think that the new trend that we're going into is going to be more of a lilac, lavender, pastel colors. And I have some of those products that I'm going to be showing to you. We're going to see how I make the switch to those tones for this season. I'm going to try them out. I take this Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow in Thalia. Love this formula. Again, love Lisa Eldridge. And I'm not saying that these products are bad. So if you love them, if you think that they're the greatest thing, you know, and that they're going to be game changers in your routine, I am happy about that. I think that different products are going to work for different people always. And just in my opinion, there's maybe a little overhype on these. I don't know that they're game changers for me. I think that they have a use. I think I'll use them up. I think I will enjoy having them. I just don't know that I would call them game changers. That beauty product that comes out that you're just like, where has this been all my life? No, I just don't. I don't think I absolutely need that product to achieve those results. Now, if I have a bad breakout again, or a big blemish that would pop up, which, you know, doesn't happen often now, I would be glad to have this on hand because I think that it would serve a big benefit there. Now, I'm purposely kind of going in a little crazy with this, so that heavy-handed, so that I can do a little cleanup. Let's see how this product cleans up. Let's take the pencil. Maybe I want to just carve out this little area where I feel like so again, I'm having to roll it up again. So very nice for cleanup. I think actually to tight line and to put this in your waterline wouldn't be a bad idea. But you might want a different shade for that. So, you know, it's a little bright, this one. I think the yellower shade would have looked better. But it's going to stay in your waterline because it's waterproof. So, you know, maybe if you have the right shade, you can multitask. I think this one's a little bit bright. Let's take the other one and let's try to clean up over here where I feel like I have a little bit more mess to clean. So you can see where you can kind of carve out that shape that you want. I think it did a nice job of that. But if I took this out and I just kind of cleaned up the edge and made that little line, took a little brush, could it do the same thing? It could. So I think this is going to be one of those things that is a personal choice thing. I think that for some people, it may be novel, it may be something interesting. Her Rouge Experience lipsticks, love them. Put a little bit of her eyeliner on. Apply her mascara. She's got her Kitten Lash mascara. I do like this formula. So just my thoughts are that these are okay products. They work. They do conceal. They do work really well for little tiny spots that you want to cover. But I just think that if you're looking for a no makeup look and you're looking to use these as a tool to achieve that, can you? You can. But you're going to use an awful lot of this product, and it's going to take you quite a little while, if you have imperfect skin like I do, to cover everything that you want to cover. I think that it's kind of nice to have this to carve out my eyebrows. I think I struggle with them. My eyebrows are horrible. And I think that that will be one of my favorite things to use this for. And if you have a little bit of lip line smearing and you get the right shade to match your skin tone, you can kind of clean that up and kind of use it to brighten up the corners of my mouth where they want to kind of drag down and shadow. Have a little scar right here where my tooth came through my lip or right below my lip when I was a little baby. And definitely cover that. There's some textured areas right here that are a little spotty. I could scribble on that, kind of cover that up. Another little red spot right here. So yes, it does work. Having a pinpoint concealer for certain things does have its benefit, especially when that pinpoint concealer has a lot of pigmentation. I think for that little spot on my nose, that may be the #1 reason I use that. And for something like that, would this be worth it? If that spot on my nose bothers me and I don't want it poking through my makeup, this would, because for $35, $34, and just tapping it on here every time I do makeup or when I'm going somewhere and don't want it to show, that would last a pretty good while, and it would definitely be worth my spend. For all over no makeup, again, not to beat a dead horse, but I don't think that would be worth it. I think you just wipe through this in no time. Very expensive, very time consuming. I think your best bet is to apply a skin tint or a tinted moisturizer for your no makeup looks, and save this for little tiny areas that are infrequent and maybe more pigmented than your average redness. I wouldn't use this to cover just an area of redness, because again, I think you're going to go through it too fast. Instead, I would use a product like this, or a product like that Redness Color Corrector by Herborian, to do redness correcting if you have a lot of redness. If you just have a small area of redness or a small imperfection, that's where I think that this might come in handy. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you think that this is a game changer for you, if you think that you're going to be able to keep this for long enough to make it worth the spend, that you feel like, you know, it has multi-purposes, but if I use it for all the purposes that I can with one pencil, I mean, I'm gonna wipe through it really quickly. There's not a lot of product in here. So I can see the pros and I can see the cons, and obviously it's always a personal choice. If you're looking at it and you're like, this is the greatest thing ever, I think that's wonderful. I'm definitely not discounting your opinion. Just my opinion is that for me, I think that I have other products in my collection that would cover almost all of the things that this does in a more efficient way. Either that it would be quicker and just as good, or that the coverage would be better and so, you know, more would go along, or that the product would go further and so I wouldn't be repeat purchasing as much while still accomplishing what I was trying to accomplish, like redness covering. But like the spot on my nose, it's not completely covered. They said the only way I can get rid of that spot is by a series of laser treatments, and I just haven't been vain enough to spend that kind of money to go get the laser treatments to cover it up. So something like this dabbed on my nose after I finish up my makeup each time that I'm trying to go out, yeah, I think that would be worth it. That obviously takes just a second. That's not really time consuming. It did a great job of camouflaging it. It's quick and it won't use up the product so fast that I feel like I'm just going through it. Living in the US, you cannot just go into a store and pick up Lisa Eldridge, so you have to place an order from either Suffrages and pay a lot of tax and a lot of shipping, or you have to get it from the Lisa Eldridge website, which also takes a while. So if you're living somewhere where you have these stores or you have these products in store near you, it might make it a little bit more worth your while also. Hopefully my review was helpful in helping you decide the pros and cons, and if this is something you'd want to pick up or something you'd want to pass on. Again, I'm just trying to give you my honest thoughts. It doesn't mean that these thoughts will apply to all of you. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Lisa, everyone's not